Yeah, good afternoon and welcome to Cockfosters. We are 17:07 in the evening. I should have picked up my train 20 minutes ago. So we're meant to be going to Uxbridge, so we'll see what happens. But I plan on taking you with me. So train's here, come in about 22 minutes late. So I better get set up pretty quick and get out. That's it, get you a nice little home. Uxbridge. Right. Hate rushing around. Hey, that's the right one. DVA going off. Let's get out of here. Yes, so good afternoon or good evening. It's yeah, call it 5:15 now. So we're about 15-16 minutes late. I don't know why the train's come in late. But never mind. So the plan is, when we get over these points, we're supposed to be going to Uxbridge. Because we're late, we might get sent elsewhere, but we'll worry about that as and when. So yeah, welcome. Tonight is Friday night. It's been a while since I've done a Friday night one, so we'll see how busy it is in town. We'll see how long the camera lasts, because it is quite warm today. Yeah, let's hope for a uneventful trip, shall we say. So if you are new to the channel, we just left Cockfosters, heading down towards Oakwood. That piece of land on the right hand side used to have trees on it. They're going to be extending the depot ready for the new trains. First one should be here shortly for testing, and then they'll be in service sometime next year. I keep getting requests if I can drive the new train on certain dates, and the answer is no, I can't. I won't be able to drive them until I've had the train in and until they're ready for passenger service. So sorry about that. Hopefully that air conditioning will cool down because it's a bit warm. So Uxbridge, if you run into the timetable, takes... sorry, I thought someone was going to throw themselves in the door. Yeah, Uxbridge, if everything runs to timetable, should take about an hour. I think it's an hour and 36 minutes, something like that. What would be quite nice is if we reverse a right slip. Haven't done that in a long while. It'll be nice for the video. So this section here, I actually did a video on for TikTok. It was only like a minute's video or so, coming down here, and the amount of people that told me this isn't the Underground, it's London Overground or the Elizabeth line. As you can see, it's not. Little interesting fact, if you didn't know, London Underground, only around 45% of it is actually underground. The rest is overground. So there you go. Now you're ready for the pub quiz. So we're coming down into Southgate. It is downhill. 45 mph limit is the speed limit. I often get asked what the top speed of the train is. I mean, it says 60 mph on the speedo, maybe 65, but I couldn't tell you actually what the top speed of a train would do unless I'm speeding, and some of them struggle to get up to 45 mph anyway. I would imagine when they were brand new they probably could have done 60. Didn't see the people there waving until the last second, so I wasn't able to wave back. So there's a couple of signs there on the wall. There's a red square with a T and a cross through it and a D off. That red one, that means the tunnel, telephone and all wires are not working. Most of them have been taken out now. And the D off is for de-icing trains. So in the winter that'd say D on, and if we were driving an operational sleep train, we'd turn on the de-icing equipment and the sleep brushes. That's what that means. These markers, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're countdown markers. If we stopped at say car marker 5, we're classed as within station limits. It means we've got roughly 1 car on the platform. That's important to know for the rules and regulations. Depending what happens is what we do, whether within station limits or between stations. So if within station limits, most things we would have to stop and deal with there and then. If we're between stations, depending what the issue is, we would continue on to the next station. Also the advantage of station limits, if we need to evacuate or if we've got a passenger who's ill on the train, if we've got at least 1 car on the platform, at least we can get people off. Blowing the whistle, we blow the whistle at whistle boards and when we come out of a tunnel between 7 and 7, 7 AM, 7 PM, and obviously any time there's an emergency. So if someone's on the track, then we'll use the whistle then regardless of the time of day. So we're coming down to Arnos Grove. It is downhill. Just on the bridge there are 2 red signals, they're always red. The first one, they're speed controlled. I think the first one's 20 mph, it should clear. Second one's 15 and should clear. But I always treat them that they're red and they're going to stay red until they don't. And that way you don't come unstuck if you're already preparing to stop. That's the way I do it. You'll see these little things on the left, they're called, they call them like pizza boxes, and that's the bit that should time the train for your speed. It was so long ago that I actually thought about them that I can't remember exactly how to work. I say, to me, they're red until they're not. So we're coming down into Arnos Grove. Arnos Grove is a driver changeover point. It's also a regulation point, so if we're running early. It's also a reversing point, and we've got the sidings as well, so you could have trains going out of service, things like that. So if you're ever on a train and it's delayed in this area, it could be one of those reasons. We've also got a place to top our water up and make a quick coffee, both on the eastbound and the westbound. These signals with the black bags over on the left hand side, they're for the new trains. They're adding new, it's not new signals but additional signals, and it's just a coacting, so it copies Papa Juliet 32, and it's purely due to visibility on the new trains. They're putting in signals at different positions. This is a passenger announcement. Just like to advise passengers, please do not stick your body parts in the door. You do risk injury or breaking the train. Just wait for the next train. Thank you. They run, throw part of their body in the door and then just stand there. If I had my way, I'd sit there until they removed it, but unfortunately I'm not allowed to do that. Anyway, on the right hand side is Arnos Grove sidings, 7 roads in there, and I think 3 or 4 of them are currently out of action as they're getting replaced. You can see lots of new bits of rail, because when this video comes out it should be Saturday the 17th of August. I say should be, hopefully. If it is, then Piccadilly Line is closed between Cockfosters and Wood Green from the time of this video coming out up until the 1st of September. They're going to be replacing the tracks and the points and whatever else they're doing. So we're heading into the tunnel, or the pipe. We've got 20 stations in here that we're going to stop at. There's a few abandoned stations as well, or disused stations. And it'll take roughly 40 minutes to clear this main tunnel, or the pipe. Assuming everything runs on time, we don't get held up for anything. So as we was coming into the tunnel, we did have a 35 mph speed restriction. Coming down into Bounds Green. Quite a busy platform actually for Bounds Green. That T on the right hand side just inside the tunnel, that's for the end of the 35 mph speed limit. So in this video, I should have explained earlier, I'm going to talk about things that I've talked about over several different videos for people who have not watched everything. So it's sort of a recap. I'm sure there will be little things I've missed off, but for the most part I'll try and cover everything for you. But one thing I will cover are the headlights. I know on the very first video I put out here, lots of comments about the headlights. The headlights are not for me to see, they're for people to see me. We've got the 35 mph speed restriction just here on the right hand side. Yeah, the reason we don't really need particularly good headlights is it's different to driving a car. We're looking further ahead to the signals, because it takes a lot longer to stop a train than it does a car. So that's why to an extent we don't need much headlights, it's just for people to see us coming. At the end of 35 mph speed restrictions, just coming up on the right hand side, you'll see a T in a white box, just there. And just past this next signal is another speed restriction, 40 mph down into Wood Green. Now we can get held at Wood Green because it's what we call a P&R point. So if a driver needs to use the toilet, there's a toilet on the platform by the westbound. There's also a sidings there which we'll be using when we're closed. So if a train goes in and out the sidings, we could get held up around this area. You'll see the tracks coming out the sidings just slightly on the right hand side here. Now, just below the monitor, you may have seen a square with a B in it. That's because this is a category B platform. What that means is, if one of those monitors or the mirror is not working or isn't working properly, I can dispatch myself, because if I look out the cab door, I can see the whole of my train. If it's a category A platform, it basically means I can't see all of my train, so I'd need assisted dispatch if the mirrors or monitors wasn't working correctly. That's all that means. Where are we going to next? Where are we going? Wood Green. Let's go Turnpike Lane. So again, if you're new to my videos, I only drive the Piccadilly Line. Pretty much all drivers are licensed for one line. There is an exception to that. The engineering drivers who drive the yellow trains around, they'll be licensed for multiple lines. And there's a group of drivers called test train operators, and they'll be licensed for multiple stops, that's the multiple different trains and multiple lines. And they do things like testing the new train when it comes in, or running the rail edition trains during the leaf fall. But for a normal driver like myself, we're just on one line. I could put in a transfer to another line, but I don't want to learn anything new, and Cockfosters is easy for me to get to. Well, easy-ish. So, Turnpike Lane. We've got a bit of a run from here down to Manor House. So again, as you see, every station has these countdown or count-up markers. Obviously they will need to be changed ready for the new trains. The new trains are going to be 9 cars long, but actually not much longer than these trains. Because I believe with the new ones, some of the cars are different lengths. Purely to getting around the bends and things. And it'll be a fully air-conditioned walk-through train. I believe it'll be able to hold about 1,000 people. Someone did ask if it's got if it'll have Wi-Fi. I don't know is the answer. I also don't know whether it'll have a higher top speed. We haven't had any of that information yet, and I suppose that's what the testing will do. They'll work all that out, I'd imagine, then. So we are heading uphill here. After this signal, it goes round to the left-hand side, or left-hand bend or curve, whatever you want to call it. And then we've got several signals before Manor House. So when you're close to a train, just got to be mindful if that's in the platform, you'll start seeing yellow signals, which are repeating the signal you can't see, telling you it's red. But hopefully we've got greens. Looking how busy the platforms are, I think we're a reasonable distance away from another train. Either that or they all knew I was driving and wanted to wait. So the track's going to go around to the right hand side of here. I'm doing about 33 miles an hour at the moment. That's in full parallel, that's full speed. Just dropping down a bit because it is uphill. Into Manor House. So again, if you knew that clicking noise We have a TBC, a handle, dead man's handle, whatever you want to call it, that we use to drive the train. So we move it for power and all the different brake settings. So every time we move it, it makes that clicking noise. We have 3 power settings. We've got shunt, series, parallel. Shunt is for, as it sounds, shunting around, moving slowly. Series, you'll be able to get up to full speed, but the motors wind up a little bit slower. It's good for when it's wet because it reduces wheel spin, and obviously parallel is full speed. In terms of braking, there's lots of different brakes on this train, but we use basically 4 brake settings: service 1, 2, 3 and 4. I try to keep it in, you just use it service 1 and 2, and then if I need to, I've got 3 and 4 if I need a bit harsher braking. We've also got emergency. And the handle, the TBC, dead man's handle, if you let go of that, that'll bring the emergency brakes on as well. But we don't want to do that, especially in the wet, because you'll put flats on the wheels. But obviously in an emergency you've got no choice. Although we should never be dropping the handle, as it's called, we should always be putting it in emergency. Right, we're coming into Finsbury Park. We change here for the Victoria Line, which is just across the platform. Doing about 25. It's a dodgy platform, this one. If you're not careful, it can catch you out. I used to hate this platform when I was learning to drive trains. So as you see, there's 2 reds there. That bottom red is a coacting signal. That's one of the new ones, just for the view from the new train. Probably see a Victoria Line in the distance just going past, and we also have a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit just past the signal. Now, I was hoping we wouldn't get held here, or we're not. This is a regulation point, so we can often be held here for about up to 6 minutes-ish. But because we're running late, I didn't expect to be sat there for long. So 25-mile-an-hour limit here. There is points here, and that's so things like the engineering trains can get across from the Victoria Line to the Piccadilly Line. You might just see them. I know the light's not very good, just on the left there, and the left track, far left, is the Victoria Line. That's all automatic operation, the Victoria Line, or ATO. The Piccadilly Line and the Bakerloo Line are the only London Underground lines that are still 100% manually driven. And even when we get the new 24-stop trains in, the Piccadilly Line will still be manually driven for a few years yet, as there's no money to upgrade the signals to run them in automatic. Again, these are all things people often ask me, so as I sort of try and remember them, I'll try and cover it all in this one video. Arsenal. Generally a quiet station unless football's on. This place used to be called Gillespie Road. If I remember when I edit this video, I can't remember if I've put it on one before, I'll put the date of when they actually changed the name of this place from Gillespie Road to Arsenal. Hopefully I'll remember to do that. So another question I have had a lot in the past, not so much recently, is how do I know when to depart? So the first thing is my signal clear? Is it green? Second thing is, are all the passengers on and off the train? And then the third thing that I do, the DVA, that's the digital voice announcer that you hear as a passenger saying this is whatever the station. Once that's finished, and those other 2 things, so no one's getting on and off, or or I've got a green signal, I'll then look at closing my doors. obviously a very busy station. Even if people are still trying to get on, at some point you've got to try and close your doors, otherwise you'll never move. We're coming down into Holloway Road now. Next stop is Caledonian Road, or Cali Road as it's known. There is a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit just before the station. That starts just before the station and ends just before the station. So 30 mile an hour is just round this corner, just past these signals. Somewhere. Yep, just coming up now, you'll see the white square on the right hand side. Just coming up here now, and then just before the platform you'll see a T, maybe. That's where it ends. I think it's just before the platform, yes it is. Just here, on the right hand side, just now. There we go. Something else I often get asked, and I'm only going to touch on it very briefly, is about people jumping. And have I ever encountered it? In this job, no. Luckily, touch wood. But a few months back I did go and... let me just get out of here. Yeah, a few months back I did actually have to go and fetch a train. Unfortunately it hit somebody and take it up to the depot. Sadly it does happen all too often, but that's all I'm going to say on that one. Let's move on. We're heading down to King's Cross St Pancras. We've got a 30 mile an hour speed limit coming up just by the second green signal, and then just after York Road disused station there's a 30, no that's where the 30 ends, sorry, just after the station, and then before the platform at King's Cross it goes to 35. I'm having to think about things today and it's painful. So 30 mile an hour speed limit is just here on the right hand side just now. York Road disused station, you won't be able to see it very well, but I will point it out to you. It's just here on the right hand side, what's left of it. And then this is where the speed limit ends. You can see the T just coming up now on the right hand side. And we're coming, this is downhill. There's currently one signal, Lima 100, that's still red. It's right before the platform. It's just gone green. There was a repeater that was yellow showing me that one was green, that was red. And then we've got a 35 mile an hour speed limit, but I'm not going to go that fast because we're downhill, we're on a bend. If you're not careful, you can soon overshoot the platform, and that's the last thing we want to do. 35 mile an hour limit starts just here on the right. I'm doing just under 30. And that was Lima 100 just here, so that was the last signal to clear that I was talking about. Slightly higher braking coming into here. perfect. It's King's Cross St Pancras. Here we can terminate here, we can detrain on this platform, and then we go into the tunnel, change ends, and we can go back east, but we can't take passengers on that one. On the other side you can change ends and go back west, but you can take passengers. I filmed this bit before, we did it on a Saturday, Sunday, can't remember now. But yeah, I have filmed that move before. So what you do is you detrain there and drive into the tunnel. I'll show you where we would stop. There are some points when we get there. You might just be just here on the right hand side. That's where we would use to cross over. So if we was to go back east, just before this green signal on the left hand side is a whiteboard that says limit of shunt, and then we would stop there, change ends, and go the other way. So that is just there on the left. That's how we do that. So if you've ever been taken off the train at King's Cross and wonder why the train continues into the tunnel, that's why, and then you can cross the points. We've got a 30-mile-an-hour limit down towards Russell Square. It is downhill. Russell Square and Holborn are fast platforms. New drivers can get caught out with it. So I'm doing about 24 miles an hour. I don't know if it comes out on camera, just inside the tunnel on the right hand side is a white triangle with three red lights. Obviously the red lights aren't on, but if the red lights was on, because that's a rail gap indicator, it'd be telling me that the next section of power is switched, or could be switched off. Could also be a faulty rail gap indicator, but basically we would treat it as a red signal and we wouldn't pass it if we could avoid it. So that's just here on the right. There's one there as well on the left. We've got a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit here. Again, Holborn is actually slightly faster than Russell Square on the westbound. So I generally don't do more than about 25, 26 miles an hour. Service 4. And there we go. So we've got a 20-mile-an-hour limit between here and Covent Garden. We're going to be going around some bends. You might get some wheel screeching. Right, and let's go. So yeah, Covent Garden next. side, that gap, that's the eastbound Piccadilly Line. I think that's it's the only section in the tunnel where we can see the other side of the Pic line. Now here, if I'm sure it'll come out on camera, we've got two green signals just ahead of us and one in the distance. If that one in the distance was red, we would wait here till it goes green, purely for the fact if we had to stop at it, we'd have at least one car still on the platform. People will try and get on the train if there's a door on the platform, so we try to avoid doing that if we can. But today, that's not an issue. The T is for the end of the 20-mile-an-hour limit. Obviously we're not going to be able to get up much speed anyway, probably 25 before Leicester Square. There's a little over 20 there, that'll do. So the station staff there, they're called SATs, and what they're doing is they're just helping in rush hour, they're helping people get on and off the trains quicker. With the words of encouragement, they will tell us, they will hold up a baton to tell us to depart, but it's my choice when I depart, because they're not actually dispatching us. It's just to try and get people on and off that little bit quicker in rush hour. But with them guys and girls, it's down to the driver to make sure it's safe to depart. That is different. If we'd got one of the monitors out and they were given assisted dispatch, then we would do as they tell us, because we wouldn't be able to see all the train. Sure, that makes a little bit of sense. Trying to cover everything with you all in this video. Piccadilly Circus. So this is a category A platform, so that means if I opened that door and tried to dispatch myself, I wouldn't be able to see all the train. So from the cab door I wouldn't be able to see the rear of the train, so a member of staff would be at a point where I could see them and they could see the rear of the train dispatching me, or they could call me on the radio. Just like to remind passengers, due to lift maintenance work, there's currently no step-free access from the Piccadilly Line at Green Park until approximately November this year. I forget every time, because there used to be a note on the board at Piccadilly Circus and at Hyde Park, and they've removed them. That's true. The note, I mean, to remind me to make the announcement about the lift. I'm sure you got that. Green Park. here. I'm just recording a video on here, you alright?
Yeah, that's fine.
If I talk rubbish.
That's alright, that's fine.
This train is ready to depart, please mind the doors. Here on the right hand side you'll see Down Street disused station, then Down Street sidings, and then we're down into Hyde Park. Just for the benefit of you all watching this later, I do have a member of staff in the cab, so I'm not going to talk quite so much rubbish as I normally do.
You can go ahead, don't mind.
They might quite like the break. 25-mile-an-hour speed limit as you come into Hyde Park corner, and you can reverse here, so you can go west to east, east to west. Finishing?
Finishing.
Oh.
I was just meeting my friend. But you can go ahead because I'm actually a trainee driver, so whatever.
On this line?
Yeah, whatever commentary driving you come in handy for me, so.
They are on YouTube.
Yeah.
I know a lot of trainees actually pass the videos around the groups.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be based? Acton?
Acton, yeah.
Okay. How far in your training are you?
I've got 3 weeks left.
3 weeks left? Oh.
So I've got a road test by the end of the month.
Excellent.
Actually did Down Street today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was doing a train.
Yep.
One more on Monday. Target training. I need some Uxbridge trips before the shutdown.
Oh yeah, I'll take mine. I've got Uxbridge twice today, Uxbridge tomorrow. Have them.
I'm okay.
I like to share.
I'm okay for now.
Okay. Just coming down into Knightsbridge, there's 25-mile-an-hour limit just here on the left-hand side. Yeah, every time I try to do Down Street, it gets cancelled. The last 7 times I've tried to film it, it gets cancelled because now they put the training trains in there quite regular.
Yeah.
We don't do it so much as the duty, which is nice that I get to go home early, but not so nice when I'm trying to film it.
What are you?
Cockfosters.
And how long have you been driving for?
I passed out 8 years at the end of the month.
Oh, well, happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you.
So I don't see you.
I expect a present.
What's your name? I'll put a thing in your pigeonhole.
It's Dale.
Dale, okay.
So how's the training going? Are you finding it all right?
Yeah, I'm with Kirsten Zimmerman.
Yep, I vaguely know her. She an Arnos Grove.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've met her a couple of times. It's sort of more in passing than anything. I think she does earlies, doesn't she? More than anything. Mm-hmm. Doesn't she do the early duties?
Yes,
yeah. Because I just do the lates.
Yeah, well, she's good. She's been driving for a long time as well.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of knowledge.
It's good. So just coming up, we've got the South Ken bends. We've got a temporary speed limit of 15, and then you'll see on the right hand side Brompton Road disused station, where you'll see a brick wall. should see some flashing lights. That's the start of the temporary speed limit, and then they'll be at the end as well. Lights are just there in the forefoot, and that's between the running rails. And that's Brompton Road on the right. The reason the speed was dropped down to 15 was wheel screeching. It used to be 20. It's been 15 2 or 3 years now. Goes right through you, doesn't it?
Yeah, right in your brain.
Yeah, luckily I haven't got much of a brain, so...
Do you think that speed restriction helps?
It depends on the train.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can make it worse, sometimes not, but I don't think it's as bad as before they put it in. We went through a spate of it being absolutely awful. But I guess that speed restriction will probably be in forever now.
Yeah.
Just coming down into South Kensington. Everything's delayed. You can just see the yellow lights flashing on the floor. That's the end of the 15 mph speed limit. And then we've got 30. Although these trains won't get up to 30 before the end of that speed restriction. But with the new ones, that'll be different.
Looks like the new ones.
Obviously. I just don't like learning anything new. I'm just too old for all that. But it'll be nice to have a go in them, but I think after a while it'll be, please let me have an old train. Because you know what computers are like? Especially with all the... Oh dear. Try not to get stressed with people. I think they look nice from the front anyway.
Yeah.
How comfy they'll be in it is another matter. But it'll be better for the passengers, should be more space, air conditioned, so...
Yeah, I think it's good as well that they walk through.
Yeah, I mean, some advantages. Obviously you can get more passengers. Disadvantage, if you've got people being noisy in one car, you can't go and move to another one to avoid them. Not that we have that issue on the Piccadilly Line, because all our passengers are lovely. I think that covers me, that's my disclaimer.
But that helps us as well in case there's something, you know, going on the train, if you have to walk through.
Yeah.
PA or...
Oh yeah, it makes life easier.
Yeah.
25 mph speed limit as we come down into Gloucester Road. Yeah, it'll be easier when it's raining. So are you, in yourself, are you confident that you're ready for your test?
Well, driving, I think, driving itself, I feel like is the easiest part of the job. It's just, you know, because you have to learn a lot of things in a quite short period of time.
Yeah.
Then you basically pass one thing, move to another thing, pass one thing, move to another thing.
It's constant,
so it's
isn't it?
Yeah, just making sure that you not only, you know, learn and pass, but you also keep that knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's your own homework that you have to do.
Yeah. The thing is, some of what you learn, you'll probably never use.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to stock, because they'll teach you all the major defects.
Yeah.
I've not had a major defect in 8 years, and most people haven't. It's usually the little stuff, like leaving the cab door open, and that's why it won't move. Just coming round into Earl's Court, which is the last station within the pipe, and then we'll go out in some nice sunshine. Maybe. Yeah, I was just trying to work out how big the gap in front of me was. That was all. Because, I mean, town's been not really busy, but busy-ish. But like Bounds Green and things like that, there was quite a lot of people on those platforms. So we've got a couple of speed restrictions before we leave the tunnel. Got 30 mile an hour and then it drops down to 25. And we're going to be going uphill all the way to Barron's Court. .30 mph limit starts just here on the left. Just there. And then the 25 starts just after this next signal. Yeah, train 356 between Earl's Court and Barron's Court on the west. Patch message over. Yes, all received. Up as Terminal 5, Rayners Lane train behind. That's all received over. Okay, we divert into Terminal 5, which means you can stay on to Hounslow now.
Yeah.
You get to listen to me rabbit onto a camera for a little longer.
That's fine. That's a bit bright. Aggressive.
Right, Terminal 5. Where are we? Barron's Court, E7. That was me. This is a passenger announcement. I'd like to advise all passengers, due to late running of this service, this train has been diverted to Heathrow Terminal 5. Any passengers for stations towards Rayners Lane and Uxbridge, there is a Rayners Lane service 2 minutes behind. Everyone's decided to get off here now. So you'll see here we got what we call 4 roads. On the left is the westbound local, we're on the westbound fast. And where this other pig train is, that's the eastbound fast and the eastbound local on the far right hand side. We used to be able to run down both the locals from Hammersmith down to Acton Town, but they took the points out, so we can't do that anymore. One less thing for you to learn. There is also a siding here in the middle that you can see. We can do lots of moves there. Too many for me to mention. And we can take passengers through most of those moves actually on that siding. I think it's the only one on this line where we can do that without authority. like extra training for you, isn't it, having to listen?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do you have your favourite section on the line?
Depends what mood I'm in. Obviously the section going back to Cockfosters at night is my favourite. Now on a nice day Uxbridge is alright. When it's wet and miserable I'd rather stay in the tunnel out of the way. But I mean, yeah, it's all the same. After so long it's just fantastic. Let's sod off. I mean, let's leave. We are going to run fast now down to Acton. So we're going to pass through Rovers Court Park, Stamford Brook, Turnham Green and Chiswick Park. Was you on stations before, driver?
Yeah, I was. I joined in 2019.
Okay.
And my first was Heathrow.
Okay.
I was there till 21.
A couple of years-ish.
And then I moved to Uxbridge and now I'm trained.
Okay. What did you prefer, Knightsbridge or Heathrow?
To be honest, I enjoyed them both. Heathrow was good because it was busy and you had more people come in and you would explain how the system works. So it was nice, and then obviously you tell them, oh, don't buy a paper ticket, buy an Oyster card, you can save so much money, and you can see because when you actually look online there's so much information.
It can be confusing.
It can be confusing, and a lot of people would say, oh, we were so not sure what to do, and we try to make it as easy and accessible for them as possible.
Yeah.
And you could actually see a relief on some of those people's faces.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that, and then when they were coming back, sometimes you would get to speak to the same people, and they would recognize you, they would remember you and say, oh, thank you very much, all the help we got from you, it was great, and our trip was great.
I think in this job, or any sort of job, it's easy to remember the people that have been horrible.
Yeah.
But you actually forget the 99.9% that actually are lovely people, or the 100% of lovely people that carry on the Piccadilly Line.
Yeah. And then Uxbridge was nice as well because you would have mix of commuters and tourists, and you would have events.
Sorry.
So once again, westbound trains, Manor House, through to Russell, where keep the going.
Okay. Doesn't affect us. Sorry.
No, it's alright. So you'd have events and you'd have commuters, so you'd have a mixture of busy and quiet. The team was great. I enjoyed it.
Ah, good. I'm guessing Heathrow, you did all the Heathrow stations.
No, you don't cover T5, it's just a supervisor.
Okay.
Because they've got Heathrow Express stuff.
Yeah, I don't understand why they do that. They never used to have. When I went through there as a passenger in 2009, I think, was the first time I used T5. And there's a little hook by the ticket. That used to be the ticket office. It was all underground staff. So.
Okay.
And Knightsbridge, was it just Knightsbridge, or was there still a group of stations?
No, so it was Knightsbridge and Hyde Park.
Okay.
And then it was actually, I think it was one of the biggest common areas because you could cover Leicester Square, Covent Garden, Russell Square, Caledonian Road, Holloway Road and Arsenal.
Oh, yeah.
So it's quite big.
Yeah. Well, variety is the spice of life, as they say.
Yeah.
So it's just listed in the radio as a defective train, I think they said, at Holborn on the west. Doesn't affect us. We're coming into Acton Town. We've got 3 sidings this side. You'll see a train in one of them, and then there's one side in the other side of Acton Town. We can use all the platforms here, so we can go into the local. Looks like we're going into the fast though, I think. My co-pilot says yes, so that's good. Hopefully she knows where we're going.
Well, the good thing is I'm not in the control of the train.
I'll just tell them I was asleep, you were driving. If we was going in the local, it'd be a 15 mph limit. As we're going into fast, we've got a 20 mph limit here. I always do 20 over the points anyway, because it gets a bit rough otherwise. And my false teeth will fall out. This will be the last time you asked to get in a cab of a train, won't it, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah, last time some weirdo was driving.
No, definitely not.
Oh no, I'm definitely a weirdo.
Nothing wrong with being a weirdo.
Well, no. Which council are you going to?
West.
West. You live far from there then?
I live in Twickenham, so
Oh, okay.
I park out Hansa West and carry on from there. I could park at Acton Town, but the journey on the way back during rush hour is just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can take up to 50 minutes. So I'd rather just stay on the train. The
Yeah.
Oslo, I've got about 17.
Okay. That's alright.
Better than 50.
Well, I do an hour and a half each way, so...
Where do you live?
Peterborough.
Oh, okay. Do you drive?
Yeah. So I usually give myself about 2.5 hours to get in, and then it's anywhere from about an hour and 25 to an hour and 45 to get home, depending on roadworks, and there's lots of them. This is the other siding, just on the right hand side here, or in the middle, and then the tracks going up the hill will take you up towards Rayners Lane and Uxbridge. And the track on the right hand side behind that wall, that's coming down from Rayners Lane and Uxbridge. Ah, dear. So if you are new here, just run through the rails. We use a 4-rail system. On the left hand side we've got the positive rail. That can be on the left or the right, so in stations they'll keep it as far away from the platform as they can. So posi rail, then we've got the running rail. One in the middle is your negative power rail, and then the one on the right hand side is your running rail. Running rail are what your wheels are on. And between the two running rails, that's the 4 foot. Or 4 foot 8 1/4, I think it actually is. Something like that. You should remember your training. I had to Google it. I think that's what it is anyway. Coming down into South Ealing. Do some plane spotting.
Between Wood Green and Russell Square. If you've got clear signal and safe for you to do so, you can depart. This is following a defective train, with the train at home. So once again, westbound train between Wood Green and Russell Square. Clear signal, safe to do so. You can depart. This is following defective train at home. Thank you.
This train is now ready to depart. Please mind the doors. The problem with the sun, you can't see your pilot lights. That's why I like driving at night. Next stop is Northfield. If you're ever delayed in this area, it's a driver relieving point. Also, trains can go in and out the depot. They can reverse off the platform or off this platform. So that's why you can get delayed around here. So the track straight on, if we was going straight on, would take you into the depot or into one of the 3 new sidings, although they're not in use at the moment. But we're going to go down here. Track on the left there goes into the depot as well. So Northfields Depot, you can get in 2 ways. You can get in from Northfields and you can get in just past Boston Manor as well, which I'll show you when we get there. Do they teach you that move, the Boston Manor move?
Yeah.
Because I started on the original night tube and we asked to do that move. It was the only one we wasn't taught, and they said no, you never need to use it. And then something like 60% of the night tube duties were going in and out of Boston End. Oh, okay. I'm not sure I'd remember how to do it. I'm sure it's simple enough. Yeah.
That you don't feel 100% confident with, but you still have to do that.
Yeah, I mean the biggest problem lies is, you know, I mean, I haven't, for argument's sake, if we look at Boston Manor move, I've not done that in 7 years. So even though I was taught it,
yeah.
After 7 years, it's like, I think I remember what I'm doing, but you don't know what they've changed about it.
Yeah.
So this is the other way to get in and out the depot, just on the left hand side here. You see the road coming out just ahead. Yeah, it's like Uxbridge sidings. I did that when I was training. They then changed the layout of it all, and the last time I went in there was, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, and I got sent up there because my train had been stabled there, so I went up to bring it out. It's like I haven't been in here for 6-7 years and it was different anyway. I think once you're reasonably experienced, you know what you're looking for. You know not to pass a stop board or a red signal. You know to look for a train stop to figure out if it's your signal or not.
Yeah. But if you've got complex areas, you know,
it can be confusing.
If you're not sure, don't move your train.
That's it. But you know, sometimes, for argument's sake, if you're at Hanger Lane Junction and there's a signal failure, you've got no choice but to take it down to Wheeling Broadway.
Yeah.
Which I've not had the pleasure of doing yet. As long as they tell me to go down there and I don't do it by mistake. Or Harrow on the Hill.
Well, yeah, that happened a few times, didn't it?
Yeah. Or when we used to be able to run down the local between Hammersmith and Acton, you ran the risk on the eastbound. If you took the wrong signal at Hammersmith, you'd have to go to West Kensington.
Oh yeah.
Do they teach you that move?
No, there's no points there anymore, no signals.
No, but I didn't know if they taught how to reverse there. 'Cause I was taught it because in theory, if something happened, I suppose they could still send you up there from Acton if you were in the local. I mean, we didn't take a train up there and learn it, but we went up there and looked at it. I'm not quite sure what would have to go wrong for him to do that, but you never know. So this is Osterley. We passed through Old Osterley, or Osterley and Grove Park, I think it was. Saw the old platforms and the old station building's a bookshop. Now on to Hounslow, Hounslow East on the west. They always get me. I have to think, where am I? I'm Hounslow West on the east, east on the west. They change the names. I'll start a petition. It's like it took me ages to remember South Ealing and Ealing Common and North Ealing.
Yeah.
I think I remember it's an Ealing, but what is it?
Which one?
It turned out to be a nice day. It's turned out to be a nice day.
Yeah.
It was horrible yesterday. I was off and it was windy and miserable and raining.
That house in the morning was quite cold, so I had my fleece inside my bag. It was windy, and then we were sitting outside Arnos and it was just lovely.
Yeah. I've not bothered bringing a coat. Because I'll have to walk through the Cockfosters depot tonight, and I'm not really built for walking, so unless it's like 4 degrees, I'll be warm enough. I hope. Otherwise, I just have to take 6 months off, won't I? With man flu. Other flus are available, obviously. Before I offend anybody. This is Hounslow East on the west. And that big red thing's a choo-choo. And the driver was giving me dirty looks. You wait till I see him later. Next one's Hounslow Central. You can reverse off the platform west to east. All you do is stop normally, open your doors, change ends and go the other way. Simple as that. So you don't need to do the training trains now, do you?
No.
You can do your test tomorrow.
I think so.
No, hang on, tomorrow's Saturday. You do it Monday.
Monday?
Yeah. Ready for the engineering works for 2 weeks. Those not in use signs, they're stopping marks for the new trains. Before you ask me. I get asked that rather a lot.
In some stations they put in very unfortunate position where they cover.
Yeah, Oakwood's like that, isn't it? So one of the drivers says he wants to bring a Sharpie and change it to now in use, just to confuse people. I'd be more surprised if he could spell it. Next is Hounslow West on the west. there is what's called a surface stop detector around this corner, and you've got some tubes that hang down, so if we was driving a surface stop train, because they're taller, it would break the tubes, turn all the lights red. I'm assuming it's still in use. It's there anyway. I know the one at Barron's Court on the eastbound a few years back, they got broke in bad weather. Luckily I wasn't working. It was 5-6 years ago, I think. Yeah, turned them all red. So surface stop detectors, this just here, the blue thing you see, there's three tubes there hanging down. And the reason for that, if a surface stop train did come all the way down here, it's likely to become a convertible, which is nice on the tail light today.
Yeah, I think so.
Of course, not that we're advertising damaging TfL property. Could we charge extra for a convertible, do you think? Oh, they do on the open top buses.
Yeah.
It's a new business idea. Dale's mystery tours of the Piccadilly Line on his open top tube.
Register it before someone else
Yeah.
uses. Yeah. Dear. Thank you very much.
Well, it's been a pleasure, and I wish you all the best in your test.
I will probably see you around.
I'm usually around somewhere.
Thank you very much.
No worries, you take care of yourself. Good evening.
You too.
Hey. Yeah, so sorry about that. You probably heard me just chatting away. A new driver there. Almost ready to do a road test, so I wish her all the best. But it does mean you lot, that's it again. I need to find a better name for it. I can't keep calling you lot. I don't really like to say my viewers, my friends, my enemies. Anyway, yeah, it's a bit of a break for you with me not rabbiting on as much. So I do apologise that this has gone from an Uxbridge to a Terminal 5, as I have done a full journey from Terminal 5 to Cockfosters, but I shall still put this video out. It's a Friday, see how busy it's been in town and things. I will, off the top of my head, I think I'm meant to be going to Uxbridge tomorrow on Saturday, my first trip, so if I remember to bring a empty memory card with me, I'll film that tomorrow. But if not, I'll have to do it. Probably wouldn't be till September now because of the engineering works and things, but yeah, I'll get it done. I am going to Uxbridge later, but someone's requested that I do it during the day, so I will do a day one. So we're going to be popping out the tunnel in a minute. We're going to be going over the top of the River Crane and then back into the tunnel for towards Hatton Cross. If you've watched my videos before, you might remember that just the other side, or just inside the tunnel mouth, the other side of the bridge, or the hill, whatever you want to call it, is a signal Whiskey 11 Alpha. That's always red. You might just see on top of this hill there's a yellow signal. That's telling me that signal's red. But I know it's red because it always is. Yeah, you have to be extra careful with that signal, especially in the wet. If you come up here too fast, you might struggle to stop for it if it doesn't clear. So the general rule of thumb is just around where the next repeater is, that's the yellow signal. If it's going to clear, it'll clear roughly when you get there. But for me, as it's cleared already, and the next one has cleared as well, so I'm clearing the platform. Yeah, as I said earlier, for me, a red signal is a red signal until it's not. So, had that not changed, I was doing about 15 miles an hour, so I'd have been out of stop, even in the wet. So, Hatton Cross is a reversing point. We can reverse off both platforms. I have filmed it, and you can either go into the westbound platform, bear with me a moment, Yeah, 356 approaching Hatton Cross on the west. Pass your message over. Yeah, that's all received down to Terminal 4, over. Right. This is a passenger announcement. Please accept my sincere apologies. I've just been told that we will be diverting once again down to Terminal 4. There is a Terminal 5 service about 4 minutes behind. If you do want Terminals 5, please change here for the train behind. Where's this train going? Cockfosters, so 0100 and we are 42. Once again, I do apologise. This train is for Heathrow Terminal 4. We are diverting to Terminal 4. Passengers for Terminal 5, please remain on the platform. There is a Terminal 5 behind. Right. Just letting the DVA do its thing, give anyone the last chance to get off. Yeah, so they said because of the late running, I need to go Terminal 4. So when I get there, I'll turn you off. I'll run to the toilet very quickly, and then what I'll do is I will turn you back on, and we'll go around to Terminals 2 and 3, just so you get to see the loop. I have filmed it before, but you get to see it again. And also, you can see that it doesn't matter what it says in my duty book and what I'm meant to be doing at the beginning of my duty, it can change. Of course, it's frustrating for passengers, but you know, I do as I'm told, because despite what my mum says, I'm a good boy, I think. In fact, I'm going to let them know I'm going to take the P&R, use the toilet before I depart. I don't know what time I'm due to depart, so yeah, 356 on the approach to Terminal 4. Just to advise, I'm going to take a P&R before I depart, over. Yeah, that's all received. I'll accept the signal once it's cleared over. Yeah, so P&R stands for Personal Needs Relief. What the signal operator has said to me, that the signal will clear. Obviously, we're close to the train, so once that's disappeared, so once I'm back on board, I can just depart when I'm back, assuming I've got a green signal. This train will depart in approximately 2 to 3 minutes time. Next stop for this service will be Heathrow's Terminals 2 and 3. Right, I'm going to turn you off and I'll turn you back on.